Burundi is important because it's one of the poorest countries in the world. It's got the lowest GDP per person according to the IMF. Typically, it's only about $150 per person per year.
In our country, there is no sufficient schools where we can learn how to build.
We actually want to build a college to teach people construction skills. That will be people who are good technically and also people who are good from a vocational point of view.
Kandi ngira no muri Afrika amashuri aracakenye.
We will admit all children without considering their tribes, their religion, or their church.
If it's all about us providing money from the West or from the developed world to Africa, this won't work. They are also raising funds, they're also putting in their labours into this project.
Stand Up and Build is a project to have reconciliation through education. When they are building together, when they are working together, when they are together at school, there is no conflict, but they work for peace and for reconciliation.
Burundi's got a massively increasing population. It's around about 9 million people now that are recorded. Basically, the hills are alive with people. You can see them everywhere you look.
Ico gihe ku kilometero kare kwadrato hariho abantu 344.
Sometimes people suffer from famine and hunger. They do not have enough food. We have rain. We have a good soil, but people lack the method to work on their lands. People do not know how to fertilize, to use the manure.
95% kwijana bitwa ko ari abarimyi mugabo naho nyene ntitwabashira mu barimyi kuko ntibashobora no kurima ngo bimbure ibibatunga igihe cyose.
The majority of the people are living in a mud or straw hut with no electricity, no water, and very poor sanitation. Life expectancy is very low in this region from the malaria, from AIDS, from the poor diet, sanitation, and also from the smoke inhalation from cooking as well.
The Twa are one of the three main ethnic groups in Burundi, Hutus and Tutsi, and the Twa are the third. They are very poor and they are not educated. We would invite them to come to our schools and be educated.
There's a sort of graduated transportation system, I guess. The lowest level is you carry by hand or by carrying things on your head. Then you move on. If you've got some more money, you would probably be able to buy a bike to get to market, to take goods to market, or to fetch firewood, or to fetch water. There are very few cars or buses or any of that sort of infrastructure. It's just not seen in that region. Most of the roads are mud roads, very dusty in the dry season, and very muddy and slippery in the rainy season. And it's a difficult environment and very dangerous environment to be travelling around in.
Some people make a long distance to arrive to school. The Burundian student needs the schools which are near to their family.
Sundays and the church are a really big event in their weekly calendar. There's a real genuine faith to that, and there's a real joy to be involved in that faith, in the singing, in the whole spirit of the religion.
We have been in a war, and the war has destroyed a lot of things. Many people have died, and many infrastructures has been destroyed. Conflict in Burundi has really affected education. Some students have been killed at school by their teachers and head teachers. In Kibimba, about 70 students have been killed by their head teacher. We are in the period of post-conflict. After the war, people need to rebuild the country and be reconciled. We have outreach program where we have a team of young people who go to the village to advise them how to care for one who has disability. We have prison fellowship to visit the families of the prisoners, and if possible, they bring something maybe to eat or some money to them to assist their children to go to school.
There's been a huge amount of deforestation in the country, and it was a rainforest area, but it's just been destroyed through the need for charcoal for cooking supplies, and also for building supplies as well.
We have the program of planting more trees around the rivers, on the hills, and wherever there is a need. We have built the agriculture college in Mwakiro commune. At that school, we admit the students from different regions, different religions, different churches, and different ethnic groups. Most of Burundians are illiterate. They do not know how to read. They do not know how to write.
Mu Burundi abana batangura bafise imyaka 6 ku dosi za seta.
Junior children have all been promised now an education, so children up to about 11 years old are educated by the government, but they've got limited funds, so the classes tend to range from typically sort of 60, 100 up to 200 children in a class.
To study needs to have access to school. If you don't have access, you back at home.
Tugaca tugira n'amashuri mato mato 186 kuko dufise amashuri yisumbuye 55. Vyumvikana yuko abana bava mu mashuri mato mato baje mu mashuri yisumbuye ahenshi barabura ibibanza byo kwigamo.
About 30%, about a third of the people can go to secondary school, can afford to go to secondary school, because you have to pay for that. And again, in the state schools, there are probably class sizes of around 70 to 100, even though they're paying for it. And it costs about £90 a year to send someone to school. That would cover their teaching, their books, their uniform, and all the things they need to go to school.
Iyo piramide nayo iri hasi nayo kandi yagutse iratera ikibazo kuko abana ntibaronka nabo nyene aho biga bisanzuye kuko baba ari beshi cyane.
So they teach on a blackboard, and you have to learn by dictation and by rote. So although they get an education, it's a very basic education. They teach them basics around geography, a bit on biology, Kirundi and French.
5 children, they share one book. It means that if I go home with that textbook, the following day it will be you.
We're trying to give them education materials and work with the schools, who are also trying to raise money to get their students the materials they need to get a good education. So we're actually funding some schools, and we have funded one school with a significant number of books in the past year, which has made a big difference to them. about a quarter of the people who go to school are orphans through the war and through AIDS and through the other crises that have happened to the country.
During the war, many people have been killed. Children have lost their parents. I have just started a program of assisting children. By now, we have about 2,500 children assisted. We assist them to go to school, to have medical services. We provide the clothes for them. Some of them, their land or their properties left by their parents have been taken by their relatives or other people. We have a lawyer who is pleading for them and assisting them to get back their properties.
kuko n'amashuri akenye duhereye mu Burundi twavuga ko iryo shure riri mu ntara ya Gitega gusa.
The agriculture college is unique, is only one in the province, and this technical college also will be the only one in our province.
The college will give access to many students.
Harashobora no kuba transformation ya ville do Muyinga kubera baba babona abantu hafi bikora ko bazi ubuhinga.
Ivyo nibaza nko mu myaka 5-10 hari habonetse ibisata vya informatique, vya mécanique, électricité, vya ETP, donc la conception des plans et la conception des plans et construction des architectes. Ivyo vyoba birafasha.
Kuko ni mugambi wa leta ari kugwiza amashuri y'imyuga, ariko kenshi amashuri y'imyuga usanga atagiye araboneka cyane kubera n'amashuri asaba ibikoresho byinshi kugira abanyeshuri bige neza.
Young people who would complete that college may be very useful to our country Burundi, to East African community, to Africa.
Kuko kenshi nk'abantu bahejeje aya mashuri ntibabura ubuzi, usanga no mu Rwanda babatumako bakaronka y'ubuzi.
We are encouraging people to give some money, very little money, and each family can give.
They're giving weeks of wages to the project, which to us is not much money, but to them is such an amount, and it's a total commitment to that project that we're seeing from the individuals on a wide scale across the community.
Hanyuma nico gituma nk'abajejwe intwaro tuzogerageza guhimiriza abanyagihugu kugira cyane cyane mu minsi ishure rizoba ririko rirubakwa umutekano w'ibikoresho ucungerwe neza n'ibindi bishoboye gukorwa n'amaboko buke buke gihe cyo gukora ibi rusange dusanzwe dukora ku minsi ya gatandatu dushobora gutanga intererano mu bikorwa bishobotse baza batweretse amaboko y'abanyagihugu bashobora gukoresha.
Stand-Up-Ville Committee is formed up from a group of people from across the community. That covers the youth leaders, people involved in AIDS and malaria recovery, pastors from around the parish, and just general people from the community, helping us clear the site and plant a perimeter hedge around the site. And they're also going to help with labour and support during the build of the project itself.
Ubwa mbere umukobwa yari wo kuguma muhira, ubu rero turi muri sensibilisation kugira turabe yuko umuco wohebwa.
Our plan is to build in stages, so we'll probably build the first block of 3 classrooms, and as we get the funding we'll build 1 classroom at a time. We see this as a 4 or 5 year project to get the first technical college up and running. What we want to do is effectively release the model that we've created here with involving the community, involving the government, and let them template that and take that template to other regions as well.
Africans have something to give, and Europeans have something to give to Africans. It is time of sharing, time for cooperation, not giving and receiving. People in Europe can contribute, giving us their skills which we do not have, giving us the advice how to improve our conditions. When we give enough knowledge and the skills to our children, maybe the future will be bright, the future will be good for Burundi.